All right, guys, welcome back into the show. We're going over UFC 283. We're talking Glover versus Jamal Hill for the championship. Pretty interesting how this all happened. Fights off and on, everything like that. Glover's out, now he's in. But we're presented by Tampa Bless. Home team do good. TampaBless.com for more information. Links down below. Let's get right into it. Glover Teixeira, second-ranked guy. Plus 120 underdog. He's 43 years old. He's 33-8. He's coming off that wild loss to Yuri. Before that, though, 6-fight winning streak. We know he beat Jan Blachowicz, Thiago Santos, Anthony Smith. Going up against Jamal Hill, ranked number 7, minus 140 favorite, 11-1, 1-no contest, 31 years old. Coming off beating Santos, Walker, and Crew all by finish. His only loss inside the octagon is Paul Craig with that wild arm break, triangle, all in one, elbows down there. Just don't go into Paul Craig's garden. You would have beat him. Pretty simple as that. The kid looks fire. Tom, this is a really tough call here. 43 years old. What do you think? Glover gets it done again?
Well, first off, I just want to comment on what you said before. You had that tie with the Jan fight. And I don't agree with what Dana's done here. Dana likes to do whatever he wants. He's above the rules. He just does whatever the heck he wants. And then he says undisputed. Yeah, okay. The guy Yuri gave up his belt. You had a fight. It was a tie. At least I think that this fight should be the semifinal to then fight the winner of that rematch. I mean, I just think you just have to hold off on a champion, and make him run the course, because the guy gave up his belt in kind of a freakish way.
Right.
And then you're just trying to just have somebody with the belt, like as quickly as possible. So I don't know if I agree with that. But anyways, it is what it is at the moment. Glover, 6-1 out of his last 7 fights. He only lost to Yuri, and that was so close. He's got home field advantage, too. He is living and fighting out of Danbury, Connecticut, but he is Brazilian. That will be home field advantage. Jamahal is 3 wins in a row. I could see him KOing or TKOing Glover in round 1 or 2, but I see what I'm picking. I see Glover with a good chin. He can be KO'd, and he has been before, but he's got a heck of a chin. Don't count on that to happen. I see him submitting Hill by rear naked choke, round 3.
All the way to round 3. The bookmakers don't have this one going around 3. I can tell you that. But this fight is so close, so easy to really see both sides, because many of Glover's fights, you can't see both sides. He's older, he's slower, lots of damage, yet he just keeps pulling it off. I'm completely torn here. Hill younger, faster. He's definitely more accurate. He has serious power. Like what he did to Johnny Walker was just seriously impressive. But can Glover do what he does most of his fights? Takes your shots, keeps walking inside, gets the takedown, and then he just becomes Glover. The guy is very skilled on the ground. I think he's a few levels ahead of Jamal Hill on the ground. But Jamal Hill's striking is clean. It's crisp. I really don't know. I'm taking Glover here. Not super confident. My first underdog pick of the card. I see it pretty close to. It's either. I'm seeing more of a decision, maybe a 4th or 5th round. I think it goes past these rounds. If you think it goes under, I think it's because Jamal Hill knocks out Glover. I don't think Glover's ready to get knocked out yet. I think he wants to get that belt one more time. But let's move right on to the card market. Hill, printed in 2021. The kid's a must-buy right here. He wins, he becomes a champ, still super young. The division has a few strong guys, but honestly, this division really kind of needs to rebuild. I'd say it's one of the weaker divisions inside the UFC. So if he can beat Yuri, now I'm not counting or discounting Yuri and Magomed. Those are the couple I think that are right there. But if he can beat Yuri, potentially Magomed, this kid can cruise for a while. The competition's a little bit, like I said, it's just a little lower level up here right now. Glover, this guy is the stuff dreams are made of. Fought and fought and fought, lost and won, never got the belt. Finally, 40 years old, he gets the belt. But no disrespect here. I don't know if he's going to have any more real upside at 43 years old here. Can he get it again? Sure. Can he retain it? You just don't know. You don't know. I think you got to sell while he's at the top. At 43, numbers don't lie. He's not going to stay spry for a very long time, even if he looks great in this fight. So I say sell while he's hot. I say Hill's a buy either way, 31. All right, moving right on flyweights. Let's get to the number 4 here. Davison Figueiredo, the champ, plus 105, 35 years old, 21-2-1. Last 3 fights, win, loss, draw to Moreno. This is the number 4. Moreno, interim champ, minus 125. Slight favorite there. He's 29 years old. He's 26-2. And his actual last fight was Kaikar, France, for the belt. Tom, you've seen them fight 3 other times. You see, I mean, every fight is really good. What do you see happening in this one, though?
I mean, it's hard to believe that Figgy's 35. You know, he's getting up there. Moreno, 29. You know, Figgy's got home field advantage, just like Glover. You know, just like Gilbert will have, a number of people here down in Brazil. Figgy's should be fighting Pantoja right now. I do not agree with the interim, and I don't think that Brandon Moreno should be fighting again the 4th time with Figgy. I just think it's ridiculous. If Brandon wins here, then what? Then they're going to say a 5th time. It's just craziness. I mean, when does it end? Anyways, it's always a good matchup, so it's still fun for the fans as far as just a really good fight to watch. What I'd love to see is Figgy finish Moreno. Do I think that's going to happen? I think it's not that likely because Moreno's such a warrior. I'm going to go with Figgy by decision here.
Wow, okay, Figgy by decision. I'm going to say 4 fights is enough for me, even though these fights have been very good. I have almost always bet on Figueiredo since he's came into the UFC. But at 35 years old, I've been watching his weight cut a little bit. These weight cuts can be problems for Figueiredo.
Crazy rip.
This guy,
looks like, you know who he looks like? Just his body? He looks like Gollum out of Lord of the Rings.
They caused serious problems for this guy. It's the reason why he didn't get the belt one time. He missed weight, had to go out and beat Benavidez again. I didn't think Benavidez was any problem for him, but still, didn't get the belt on that. You lose money, you lose time. It's a pain. And he's only getting older. This guy cuts like a third of his body weight here, and I think he's having a tough weight cut right now. So we'll see if he even makes
the weight. He already made it. No, he already made it. They all already made it.
Oh,
Everybody
man.
made it.
So I'm taking Moreno here, though. Since they last fought, every time we watch, Figueiredo has always been top-level champion caliber. Moreno is getting better, though. Figgy's kind of even. Moreno, every time we see him, he's got some kind of new trick out there, some kind of new punch, or his grappling's better. He switched camps again. That's worth noting. He went to the Krause camp. Krause gave him a few things. It worked for him. He got the win. And then, obviously, Krause is actually in even more trouble. I don't know. They haven't been running the scandals much, but the scandal got even deeper when they found out he was working with some offshore bookie thing and everything like that. Just crazy there. But whatever.
I sent you the one guy that just got cut.
Right? No, I mean, that's such a shame. I love El Jefe. But besides that, I mean, he's got to change camps again for this fight. Does it help him? I think it helps Moreno. I think this guy switching camps just gets him more tools in his toolbox. I don't think it really hurts him. He's championship caliber. He is an interim champ. Now, I think realistically here, Figgy's going to headhunt, and it just does not work out for him against Moreno. Moreno's got that cast iron chin, and if you don't love Moreno, there's problems here. Everybody loves this guy. This is like Mr. Nice Guy. So I think even though Figueiredo...
I don't love him. I'll tell you that.
Well, even though Figueiredo's the champ and he's the Brazilian...
I like him.
I don't think Moreno's...
He's not one of my favorite fighters.
No, that's fine. But I don't think Moreno's really at a big disadvantage fan-wise here, even though it's in Brazil. This guy's just... He's like a... I understand he's in North America, but Mexico... He's on the Spanish table. He's on that South American side for a lot of guys because that's who they see when they tune into him to watch UFC. They tune into the Latin culture. Moreno's on that desk. so they get a healthy
True,
dose of
but
Moreno.
they do speak Portuguese in Brazil, not Spanish.
I get it. That's why I didn't say that. I understand that. Yeah. But either way, I'm taking Moreno. I think the fight starts pretty close. I just think the headhunting's not going to work out for Figueiredo, so if he doesn't change his game, I think Moreno gets it done. I think he gets it done by a close decision. I think volume and cardio and weight cut is the big ones for Moreno.
Now Figgy's still rolling with Cejudo, right?
I don't think he did all his training over there with Cejudo. I didn't pay too close attention.
That's a solid camp, too.
It is, but Cejudo would have had him cutting earlier. But either way, card market, Moreno, this kid's a must-buy. I mean, 29 years old, and he's already at the championship level here. And he looks great, right? And he's loved worldwide. I told you, he's on the desk. He's Mr. Nice Guy. He's printed in 2021. Very easy to find. Prices are still pretty affordable. And he's got a lot more time in the game. Figueiredo, I like Figueiredo. Like I said, I've been on the Figueiredo camp. I never go against Figueiredo. But the weight cuts are becoming an issue as he's getting older. Flyweight at 35 is different than heavyweight at 35. We all know that. So for me, there's not that many more weight cuts left for Figueiredo. So he has to move up or knock Moreno out and defend a few times to really go down.
No, he's already talking about moving up.
He's been talking about it, but he's not moved up. So we'll see.
So it's funny what he said. He said he was talking about moving up, but he said he won't fight Cejudo.
Right. And I also just, the bantamweight division is a lot deeper than the flyweight division. So if he moves up, how do I think he's going to do? He's not going to be the bigger man anymore like he is in the flyweights. He's a huge dude in the flyweights. He'll probably be around the same size as a lot of bantamweights. And you're going up to, just killer's row right now over there in the bantamweight division. I don't know. You got Aljo. Dillashaw is retired, but you like you said, you have potentially Cejudo floating around. You got Nurmagomedov floating around. Sugar Sean. It's killers over there. So to me, I gotta get a sell on Figueiredo while he's hot, while he's good. And I've been a fan of his for a long time. 2019, the guy was printed. But sell. All right, I don't want to spend too much time on him. Let's move right on. We got welterweights. Gilbert Burns, ranked number 5, minus 460 favorite. 36 years old, 25 record. And he's coming off that loss to Hamza where he gained love from a lot of people. He gave Hamza a damn good fight. Nobody saw that one really going like that. And he beat Wonder Boy, and he lost to Usman where... Let's be real. He gave Usman a problem in the first round at least. He's going up against Neil Magny, ranked 12, plus 370 underdog, 35 years old, 27-9 record, coming off beating Daniel Rodriguez, and he lost to Shavkat. No shame in losing to Shavkat either, though. That's like the Hamza. I can't wait till we get that rivalry going because those guys are just so damn talented. Tom, this is a really tough one. I'm pretty sure you like both these guys the same I do. How do you see this one going down?
Yeah, to kind of just further what you were saying about Burns, getting a lot of love for his performance against Khamzat. I also think that his performance against Khamzat gave a lot of other fighters confidence to go against Khamzat, because they were able to see somebody finally, run kind of the distance with him, because no one was. He was just steamrolling people. And I feel like that gave people a boost and kind of, gave a little bit of mortality to Khamzat, even though it's not to the death or anything. Just a little bit, of signals that he can be beaten. Home field advantage here for Gilbert. Also, he's never been subbed in his whole career, so I don't really think Neil's going to pull that off either. So that's kind of not the best for Neil either, because that route, I think, is kind of cut off for him. Neil, what he does have is a 9-inch reach advantage. Use that. He just beat D-Rod. That was huge. He subbed him. I could see Neil winning in the decision. I don't see him finishing Gilbert. But I got to go with Gilbert here by decision. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Gilbert is going to beat him by decision here. This is only a 3-rounder, remember. This isn't a 5.
No, I get it. What's up, Greg Sills in the chat there? What's going on,
Greg's
Greg?
back.
Greg, maybe you could take it down this week. It is not an easy week. We'll see how it goes. All right, I got to say, Magny, he's grown on me over the years. He's just a warrior. He's one of those guys who will step in and he'll fight anyone.
Fight anybody.
He will sign the dotted line. There's no question. That guy does not refuse fights. I love that, man. The guy is definitely a warrior. He does take some licks, but he always comes back and he looks better most of the time. The guy kind of like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde for me, though, because he has moments where he looks like he can really beat anyone. He's got this game plan. Like you said, we talk about it. You can do the Magny, where you just smother dudes.
Yeah,
but there's other moments where Neil kind of crumbles and he doesn't look the same. I understand there's different levels to the game and everything, but for me, I see it. I want to pick Magny, keep the distance, use the smother and clutch, and don't give any breathing room to Gilbert. That being said, though, Gilbert's kind of like a bull in the china shop. He can do it all, but he lacks a couple of Neil's strengths. That's why it's a little more interesting than this line is telling you. Neil has cardio for days. The dude can push the pace the entire fight. 3 rounds, easy for him. No problem. Hopefully, Gilbert can make 2 rounds. Gilbert gasses most of his fights. People are just biased right now because of the Hamzat fight, but he was gassing in that one too. But I'm just saying, Gilbert gasses a lot. He looks a lot better at welterweight than he did at lightweight, but still. I got to take Gilbert, though. I got to think he's going to use just his leverage, his smaller posture to get to the ground. And I think he grinds out an ugly decision here. I don't think he subs Magny. Magny's pretty well-rounded everywhere and can pretty much do it all. Also, I think Gilbert's just a little better in a few of those specialty areas. Maybe a little more power.
I think Gilbert also, you got to also watch out for the power in his hands, too, because he can throw a little bit.
He definitely can.
Another funny thing I wanted to bring up, though, that, just kind of surprised me is Neil's 35, but Gilbert is 36. Neil looks crazy older than Gilbert, man. I would have thought he was older for sure, but he's not. He's younger.
Yeah, I love Neil, though. But, all right, both men, their championship aspirations are kind of going by the wayside at 36, 35 in the welterweight division. Shavkat, Hamzat growing in strength. I don't know if they're ever going to be champions.
Colby.
Never want to say never. And I just got to put a sell on both these guys just because of that. They're never going to get that extreme love where defending a belt really can just change the world as far as the card market goes. Yeah, so I got to put a sell on them. Don't worry, Sills. Last week I had a perfect record, so no one won. You couldn't get it last week. Let's move on. We got flyweights. We got, to me, which it's crazy because it's very hard to bet on women. And the line is not giving you anything here, but I think we got a clear-cut winner on this one. We got Lauren Murphy ranked 4, plus 390 underdog. She's 39 years old. She's 16-5, and she's coming off beating Miesha Tate. And before that, she got dominated by Valentina. She's going up against Jessica Andrade, home field advantage, as Tom's mentioned a few times. Ranked number 6, minus 490 favorite. She's 31 years old. She's 23-9. And let's not forget what she just did. First only UFC standing triangle arm choke, beating Lemos, who's another powerhouse in there. And she beat Calvillo last. She's just she's incredible. If your name's not like Valentina, Amanda, or one of the top strawweights there, on Josh, steamrolls girls. But Tom, I don't know. Maybe you see something from Murphy. I'm just going to say I don't, but I'll let you have that one.
Murphy, 39, getting up there for the women's. Just any women, not too many women are older and still in the UFC than Lauren Murphy, 39 years old. Jessica, 31 years old. One thing interesting about Lauren, though, she's only been finished once in 21 fights. She's only been finished once. It was Valentina in the 4th round. She got dominated, but it was the 4th round to catch a finish. So she's not an easy finish. All right. Out of 21 fights, she only got finished once. Yes, she lost some fights, but they weren't. Only one was by a finish. They were decisions. That said, Andrade, it seems like I haven't seen her in a long time fight, but I checked. It was April, so I guess about 10 months. shorter than what I thought, actually. Home field advantage, like you just said. I think Andrade is going to give Murphy her second stoppage in her career.
Right, yeah.
And I'm going round 1 or 2 by strikes, Andrade.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, I'm feeling that one. I feel this line is correct. I don't think Murphy beats Andrade 1 out of 10 times even. I feel like it's more like 1 out of 100 times. I think Andrade is just too strong. She's too good. I mean, we saw the power. She body shots Caitlin Chukagian, who is a top tier all the time. Body shots her to a finish. Standing arm triangle choke. That doesn't happen for the women. And she did it to one of the stronger women, Amanda Lemos. I mean, outside of the best in the world, I mean, you got to put her in the best in the world, but outside those top tier girls, she just outmuscles everyone she gets
Plus,
in
she
there.
freaking slammed Rose.
She slammed Raquel Pennington back in the day at bantamweight. This girl is strong. This girl is talented. At 39 years old, Murphy looks in great shape, but Andrade is in great shape. I think she gets...
Murphy definitely was in better shape. The best shape I've seen in a while last fight. That said, I still stand by my
Misha
pick.
has not looked good coming back. She just doesn't. She looks like everybody else has just surpassed her skill level completely.
I know, but just let's look back on that one. I did pick Murphy, and you picked Misha. So
well, but she's
I had
disappointed
to go with the Irish on that one.
She's disappointed me multiple times. Misha does not look good. That she's just been surpassed. I agree, though. I think Andrade gets a finish first, second round. I understand how tough Murphy is, but Andrade is just... realistically, Andrade is more powerful than probably every other girl at this weight class.
That just shows you how strong, though, Valentina was, because Valentina kind of ragdolled her.
I think Andrade is probably stronger than Valentina. Valentina's just so much more skillful. She knows balance and weight and positions a lot better. It's kind of like Khabib. Do I think Khabib was the strongest guy in the division? I believe he was very strong. I don't know if he was the strong, but he just had the knowledge in there, the skill set. That's where Valentina shines. She just has. That's why it took her that long to visit.
Technique.
Right, her technique is
plus strength.
Right, her technique is perfect. I bet Andrade is stronger than Valentina when she wants to put on that weight and muscle and everything like that. It's just Valentina's technique's near perfect every single fight, so it's very hard. Now, I don't like buying many women's cards outside the champs that I really just mentioned, but Andrade can literally fight in every single woman division they have inside the UFC, and she's been the champ before. So I'm going to give her a little speculation buy. I got to give it to her because she's that good. She's still young, too. And she does her OnlyFans things and is not really distracted. She does a lot of stuff. Andrade is talented. I mean, I think she needs a little spec buy. She can grow in popularity and everything else. So I like her. And she's been the champ and fights in every division. Takes on all comers. So, Lauren Murphy, we're not going to waste our time, guys. I'll just tell you that right now. All right, let's move on to the middleweights. Guys, there was too many fights on this card to cover everything. There was a lot of really good fights, actually. They put on a great card for Brazil. They realize how big the market is down there. They got a ton of Brazilian fighters, so apologize if we missed one of your guys. But we're going on to RoboCop. We got Gregory Rodriguez, minus 305 favorite, 30 years old, 13-4, beat Chidi Nchukwanu and Julian Marquez, both by finish. And if you go back and watch, what a performance Chidi put on to not get the victory. But Bruno Ferreira is making his debut against Gregory Rodriguez. That is a hard debut. Plus 255 underdog. He's 30 years old. He's 9-0. And he won his Contender Series fight by TKO. Tom, does this guy go 10-0?
Well, first I want to say, we're not covering Mauricio Shogun Hua, but it'll be his last fight. Respect to Shogun, an awesome career. And he's getting to finish it up at home down in Brazil. I think that's awesome. And I hope he gets the W on his way out. But he said 100% this is his last fight. He's already in the UFC Hall of Fame on a fight that he had in a matchup fight. But I think that he is somebody that could be deserving of being in there and standalone under his own, just his name.
I'm sure he will.
Now, off to this fight, RoboCop versus the Hulk. RoboCop 30, the Hulk 30. RoboCop is 6 inches taller, so that's definitely worth noting. The Hulk really is kind of hulkish. He's kind of a very thick guy. This guy, the Hulk over
Bruno.
here. Yeah, Bruno. I'm going with. First off, let me just tell you, all wins by finishes for the Hulk. Everyone. Only been to round 2 twice. All right, 7 times round 1 finish. Even the round 2s were finish. Big dude, muscle wise, and I think he could fatigue. That's what you got to watch out. I could see him winning first round. Anybody could go out first round. This could be a throwdown, and just like we had Claudio Ribeiro versus Al Hassan, anybody could really go out. And we saw Claudio looked pretty jacked himself. He started off with those leg kicks. Al Hassan, though, switched it up. He went to the judo. Smart move. Then he caught him and finished him second round. But if they just want to bang, anyone can win because these guys are both big. But what I'm thinking here is RoboCop's going to survive that first round. He's going to dish it out, but he's also going to have to be smart and not get knocked out. He's going to make it to the second or third round and catch a finish. That's where he's going to beat by strikes. I think he's going to get the finish on Bruno here. But I could see a decision as well, if he just wears him down and gets like a 2-1 decision type thing. But my first pick is round 2 or 3 by strikes. RoboCop.
Yeah, I kind of like it. I mean, this seems like what a tough debut this is. RoboCop, he's a real fighter. We saw him come in. He loses to Petrosian in a very close fight. You're like, oh, okay, maybe he's not. But he really is very good. He's got decent cardio. He's got pretty good hands. He's got good BJJ. And he definitely has a pretty damn good chin. Right? I mean, we saw that on display multiple times. Maybe some refs...
He had a crazy cut last time.
Maybe some refs even call that. Bruno, as we just mentioned, first round finisher. But if he doesn't get the first round finish, how good is his cardio after that? This is UFC. We always talk about it. Guys come in, finishers, then they go decision. Right? We always talk about it. If he gets, on top and he's looking to ground and pound, just how good is his defense going to be? Because RoboCop can throw up submissions from the bottom. He's very talented. He's a true black belt in BJJ. I just think Ferreira, he has a very good shot, but it's a limited opportunity. So I think if he doesn't get that first round TKO, KO, which I don't think he does, I think RoboCop gets the KO in the second round. I think we've seen how good RoboCop is. He's getting better. 30 years old. I don't know about that, but
it's funny. He's almost doing like what is that? Benjamin
Button.
The guy who
Benjamin Button.
Yeah, he's looking like he's getting younger. RoboCop. It's crazy.
Well, I got RoboCop. I agree. I think he's got enough to finish him, enough experience to know weather the storm versus this guy, wear this guy out. Don't get into the crazy war with him right away, because then you might get knocked out. I mean, it happens, to the best of them. All right, card market goes, though. Neither guy's printed yet. We'll reevaluate them when they do get printed. I'm not going to waste too much time on that. Let's move right on here to I believe this is the biggest betting favorite on the card here. We got heavyweights Shamil Abdurakhmanov, ranked 15, plus 675. Well done. He's 41 years old. He's 27, 3-fight losing streak. But I could kind of give him a little credit here. Sergey Pavlovich has shown he is, my goodness, he is damn good and damn powerful.
Yeah, he's crazy.
We got Dawkins. That's where you got to kind of wonder here. And Curtis Blades also probably doesn't get the respect he deserves. He is top 3 heavyweight, roaming around there all the time. Very talented. He's going up against Jalton Almeida, minus 975 favorite, 17-2, and he's 31 years old, 0 decision wins. This dude is a finisher. I mean, Tom, can you see Shamil getting it done here?
I mean, I could see it happening. I think he has almost a 30-pound weight advantage. I looked at the weigh-ins. It was almost a 30-pound weight advantage. So he's big. I mean, he could take advantage of that size and catch Almeida. It's possible, but I don't see it happening. Like you said, he lost 3 in a row. His career with the UFC, this is what makes him dangerous, though, is he lost 3 in a row. His career with the UFC is on the line. He could be cut after this loss. If he takes this loss, he could be cut. So he might come out and really, just give it his all, like it's all on the line, and maybe put in a show worthwhile of earning himself, even if he loses, another fight. Because that's kind of where he's at. He's at that point, at 41 with 3 losses in a row.
Yeah.
Now, Almeida's got home field advantage on top of it. Almeida's put on a little bit of size. He was weighing in the 230s now. He was in the 220s before. So I don't know if that's all muscle or what that is, or
that's damn muscle. Look at that boy. That boy is all muscle.
If that's all muscle, that's incredible to put on that much muscle in that
He's
period
a freaking
of time.
Hulk,
because,
man.
Yeah, because he was in the 220s. Now he's up in the 230s. I don't know if he's just not going to be quite as chiseled as he was. I'm not sure. Either way, I got to go with Almeida. Round 1, rear naked choke.
No, I can't argue that. What I got to say is Shamil, I agree, he's a big heavyweight. We saw Jalton, though, keeps fighting heavyweight guys, even though he's supposed to be a 205er. Parker Porter is a big heavyweight. Shamil, loads of experience fighting the top guys. I just mentioned a few of them where he lost. That's where it ends for me, though. Jalton is a monster out there. This guy's not a true heavyweight, but he's climbing the ladder, beating heavyweights, knowing he can beat most of them. I feel like it's a smart play for him. He doesn't have to do the weight cut, which he probably doesn't like, and he's fighting guys that he feels he has an incredible advantage against, which he's shown he really does have an incredible advantage against them. This guy, I mean, let's be real. He's going out there, he's finishing everybody he's fighting right now. This guy has championship-level aspects, but he's got to start cutting down to 205 to get it. I don't know if he'll have them once he meets that top 5 guys where they all have one-touch knockout power. That's where the game changes, where it's such a tricky sport up there for those heavyweights with those guys. One little touch and you could sleep. Even guys that you don't hear, like we always go, Jair Rosenstruck. You get hit by that guy, you're going to sleep.
No, he looked great. I love Jair on his
I'm just saying,
you get
hit by that dude, and that's it. Curtis Blades has that kind of power, but he's a wrestler. It's just different power up there. So I think Almeida realizes that, but he's beating these guys because they're a little low level. He's getting paychecks, goes up to the next contract, makes more money, then he can start the weight cuts. Right now he doesn't have to put any pressure on his body or anything.
I don't really know if he's gonna, because if you already moved up to the 230s, you're pretty much entering into now. Pretty much you're a heavyweight.
That's not a big cut. I bet all the 205ers kind of cut down there. But either way, I think Almeida
He could be headed in that direction. He could next time be in the 240s.
Well, we'll see. I think Almeida, he makes this look too easy. I agree. I think he gets a first round. I think he probably mauls this guy to the ground and just ground and pounds. That guy drops hammer fist that nobody wants to get hit by. I'm excited to watch this guy. Plus, this guy, he's not only fighting UFC. This guy is constantly improving.
Grappling.
Yes, he's constantly in grappling matches. That's why I think he doesn't stay heavyweight, because he cuts down for a lot of the grappling matches. So he's not only fighting this fight. He's probably got 3 fights in between this. I didn't look it up. He's constantly fighting. This guy likes to stay active, which everybody likes that. Shamil, though, printed recently, hard sell. 41, 3-fight losing streak. Ranked 15, gonna fall out of the rankings if he doesn't win this one. Sell. Jalton, guy's not printed. This guy surely has to be a spec play. This guy has to.
Got to be printed, man.
This guy has to be on your radar. I mean, I don't know. This is one of the guys I'm very excited if he can consistently make 205. He's damn good. All right, enough time wasted on those guys. I don't love the line, but I love the fight. All right, lightweights. We got Ismael Bonfim plus 105. Pretty good. Age 27, 18-3. Hasn't lost since 2014, where he lost to Renato Moicano. Tells you, though, this guy is on fire. Just winning and winning and winning. I mean, this is a serious debut here, though. He's going up against Terrence McKinney, minus 125 favorite. He's 28 years old. He's 13-4. Last beat Eric Gonzalez. And before that, he lost to Drew Dober that was a Drew Dober fight, baby. That's all I'm going to say. I love Drew Dober, man. That guy's, he's like Neil Magny. When you actually watch them, even though they may never become champions, they'll fight anyone, anytime. It doesn't matter. They're in good fights. Tom, what do you got here? I mean, this is really tough. This is really a tough one.
Yeah, you know, Ishmael on a 12-fight win streak, but he hasn't really had an official UFC fight yet.
Right.
So home field advantage to Ishmael as well. Terrence only been out of the first round twice in 17 fights. So you got to keep that in mind if he gets out of the first. And one of the fights, because he had 2 fights outside of the first round. One was the second round he lost. One was the third round where he won. So you just got to keep it in mind. Once it gets out of there, it's kind of unknown territory for Terrence. I think if Terrence cannot put away Ishmael in round 1, we could see a decision. And I'm thinking if it does go to decision, it'll be like a 2-1 decision. Terrence wins. Otherwise, I got McKinney by round 1 strikes. I'm going with McKinney either way. But I could see if he doesn't get that finish round 1, it could go to a decision on him where I think maybe he'll lose 1 round along the way, maybe the third.
Right.
And, win 2-1.
Yeah. I'm just going to say this kid, Ismail, he's the real deal. I'm leaning towards him, but I just can't bet against McKinney. He's so explosive. If he lands or gets on your back, he gets the finish. That's really it. Outside of Drew Dober, who has an incredible chin. I mean, the guy's head, he's got a huge chin.
He's got a crazy jaw.
He can take a smashing where everybody else was going to go night-night with that one. I like McKinney. I'm not going to say that I don't think Bonfim can win this one. I definitely think he can win this one. I think his key to victory is to not get in the firefight, but let McKinney use those explosive punches and those explosive moves and try to just kind of let him miss with those moves and then wear him out. Because McKinney 100% does gas. Does he change his game plan going down to Brazil? This guy doesn't fight in foreign countries. I believe this is his first time leaving the United States for a fight. So that's another big deal. A lot of these guys don't realize you got to get down there. You got to acclimate. It's a huge advantage a lot of times. And most fighters don't take enough advantage of what the UFC offers or ask Dana to get them down early so they can train and everything like that. I don't love that. I've mentioned that a lot of times. It's not as...
Especially for Dubai.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not as crazy in Brazil as it is in desert areas and stuff like that, but it still is something to note, especially for McKinney. The guy's explosive. I'm rolling McKinney. I think he gets the first round finish. I think this kid, honestly, I think he has championship aspirations. I mean, I know he has them inside his head. I think he can get there. He just needs to get with a coach who can get...
He's only 28. He's only 28.
He needs a coach.
Only 27.
Yeah. No, he needs a coach that can get him to... The cardio is full for at least the full 3 rounds until he gets to where he needs 5 rounds. Otherwise, he's going to have a hard time with some of these guys that are just craftier with great chins. It's not easy. We saw it. I just mentioned it. We saw it with Dober.
Yep.
If you're not able to put them away, these guys will come back on you, and they'll haunt you, and their cardio is great. That's the only thing really missing for me from McKinney. Card market goes... I mean, McKinney and Bonfim, these guys are both got to be on your radar. You're going to see after this fight. You got to keep them both. They're both going to be a spec play. I'm sure both of them are probably going to be printed in the near future here. T-Rex, great nickname, definitely going to be printed. He's got a bunch of UFC fights. This guy's a stud. All right, guys, that's it.
Listen.
What are you listening to?
I got 2 questions for you.
For me?
2 questions. Yep, they're both card market questions. One, it's not as big of I think a change, but you got Khabib is kind of going out of the limelight, at least a huge decrease in limelight. Does that affect his card value?
Yeah, it does. Definitely does. It's not like a super up or down like a championship fight, but people start to forget about guys once they leave the scene altogether. Now, he's always going to be known as an undefeated champion, stepped away in his prime. He'll still always retain value. He's always worth buying. But being a coach and being a top coach, I mean, this guy's got... We saw his cousin, Umar, looks incredible. We see Islam Makhachev. We see he's got guys in Bellator. His name is so big it does hurt him a little to step away. Does it do enough that I would say sell or anything like that? Absolutely not. The guy's a legend. The guy lost like 1 or 2 rounds in his entire career.
Next. What about the value of Francis Ngannou?
Yeah, oh yeah. That's we got to see what he does next, though. That's the big question. What does he do next? Does this guy go and fight PFL? And then we could do a lot of what ifs, could haves, should haves.
Do you think that the UFC might stop printing his card, and therefore the value of the cards that are already in circulation will go up?
No, because UFC doesn't pick who gets printed. Panini buys the rights out from the companies, and they pick who gets printed. And anyone who's really involved in the market knows that Panini loves to overprint guys that have retired and left the sport. This way they can give you those filler cards that aren't worth a lot.
But he didn't retire, he left.
But he's still out of the UFC.
Right.
Panini loves to print those guys because their value's never going to be the same as their rookie card or their first debut card or whatever. And they'll pump those guys to no tomorrow as a great filler card. Not to give you all the hits. So no way do they print them less. Does his value drop? It's very possible his value drops. It depends what he does. Does he go boxing, make $30 million with Tyson Fury, and then realize he wants to be more famous because nobody else is talking about him anymore? Nobody's going to care about him. He's going to start to fade away. He's not a young guy. So then does he come back to the UFC to try to fight John Jones in a super fight? Make a 1-fight deal, 2-fight deal? Does he go to the PFL, try to make just $1 million every time he knocks those chumps out over there? And everybody's kind of like, it's kind of like Kayla Harrison. Everybody thought, oh, let's get Kayla Harrison to the UFC. Let's get her in. And then she winds up getting a loss.
I know, but that's not the same, dude. He was already the UFC champ.
Right, but now you're avoiding the greatest fighter of all time.
No. Listen.
John Jones is the greatest fighter of all times.
Listen, I agree with that, but he's not the greatest heavyweight. He's the greatest pound for pound overall. Yes. He's going to try to prove right now, undisputed, he owns everyone in taking over the heavyweight division. Then there's no question.
Right.
Jones has already said, he, in his mind, I don't know if he's just playing games, has claimed numerous times that the greatest heavyweight is Stipe. And he wanted to fight him to claim basically his history and say, oh, you were the greatest, but now I just beat you. I'm the best. That's it. But Stipe is saying he's going to take the winner of the Cyril Gane fight. But Francis Ngannou, again, Dana White, they dropped the ball. I don't want to preach on this too long, but it just happened, and it's insane. I just feel like Dana White, again, is just playing games. He goes, and then he wants to call it undisputed. It's completely disputed champ. The champion's gone.
No, listen, Francis has a right to a lot of things, but not being able to defend against the greatest fighter of all time is a major thing. And the other major thing is Cyril Gane could have won that fight if he doesn't go for the knee bar, where Francis got to lay on top of him in the 5th. He wins that 5th. He had the top position.
What? I agree, but it's still that Francis was fighting with 2 bad knees at that point.
I mean, they all fight with injuries. That's not. He could have said
no.
He
went straight to surgery, pretty much.
Well, I mean, a lot of these guys go to surgery right after. It's part of.
No, but Francis won the fight. He did a great play, just like we gave credit to Al Hassan for switching it up. Francis made the best of it and went to wrestling.
Listen, Francis won,
and he did it.
But the point is,
so I just think
you fade away when you leave things. It's just how it goes.
Right.
It's just natural occurrence.
Somebody's got to take a stand, though, to change things.
I'm not mad at Francis. But in the card world, Calvin Johnson could have been the greatest wide receiver of all time. But Barry Sanders, I mean, still arguably the best running back, but could have been.
But they both stayed with a losing team.
Right. But they couldn't get out. That's why they both retired in their prime. They signed too long or whatever they did. The Lions.
So the UFC tries to look. Even at the UFC, they had John Jones signed a ludicrous 8-fight deal. He's not going to fight 8 fights. You out of your mind? But they just want to lock him up. That's what they do.
Well, no,
they just want to lock him up. 8-fight deal. That's ludicrous. They just want to make sure he never goes anywhere else.
Listen,
Like they did
on the
George
on the John Jones thing, John Jones is guaranteed he's getting the pay-per-view points. So John Jones is going to make money. But there's another factor. Listen, I have a love-hate with John Jones, right? I think he's the greatest fighter, dirtbag, whatever you want to call it. John Jones is, fight-wise, he's the man. I don't know about...
He's the GOAT in my mind.
Okay, the GOAT. I'm not arguing that. I agree. But his personal life, did John Jones blow all the fucking money and need an 8-fight deal? He says he was only going to fight 3 fights, win the belt, defend the belt at heavyweight twice, and leave. Does John Jones need more money? Has John Jones blown through?
Gotten it off just the 3-fight deal. He still would have got it with points.
Right, but
the UFC wanted to lock him up.
Nah, but did John Jones get paid more for that, and he needed it? We don't know John Jones' personal life. The dude is arrested. The dude is in trouble all the time. He might be doing the Kobe Bryant, having to buy an engagement ring, getting caught on his wife. We don't know. John Jones, outside of the UFC, is a maniac. We know he gets DWIs. We know he gets pulled over. We know he gets in trouble. How much money does it take to cover this up? Does John Jones have money? I'm just saying.
I think he does. I think he clearly does. I don't know if he's got the money that he wants, but either way, he's going to be plenty well off the 3-fight deal. Again, the UFC looking to handcuff. I get it. It's a business on their end. And just like I would say back in the day with the Yankees, even Derek Jeter wasn't bigger than the Yankees. That's just the way it is. Even though I don't like that aspect, I just feel like there's a level of loyalty that should be kind of there has to be a balance there. But I think the UFC is kind of in that position of where nobody's bigger than the UFC, and they can kind of play that card, and you'll find out when you're sitting on the sideline. Unless you go and start something. Like I saw one guy, Capoza, who I follow on Twitter, he kind of suggested that Francis go back and start and kind of do what Dana wanted to do, but do it kind of ahead of him and start like a league in Africa. I think that would be pretty sick as well. You know, he's got some options, I mean, for sure. But
I just want to say they don't have the level yet, but I love one championship. Those fighters, the smaller fighters are over there. Regardless of what you want to say, the smaller fighters are there, and those guys can perform. And anyone who says Demetrius Johnson's not the greatest, that dude is the greatest. Amazing. He's unbelievable still to this day. I don't care if he's like 35. Did you hear?
He just put out how much he was getting paid in the UFC.
Yeah, I mean, you wonder why he got traded. No wonder he got traded. The guy was one of the best ever to do it. I mean, listen, Rogan will tell you who's the greatest ever. Demetrius Johnson. I think Jones. I think Demetrius is right there. The guys can do everything. One championship has an incredible level of smaller guys.
And the girl fights are great. We just watched
smaller females.
Supergirl versus
Stamp Fairtex.
Yeah, that was a great fight. I thought Supergirl won. Stamp got the win on a split. They gave a bonus to only Stamp, but I just found out they circled back and they gave the bonus also, as it should be, to Supergirl.
Supergirl is young too to be that good. She's so young. No, it's incredible.
She's another one who's down to fight. She's like a Neil Magny mentality. She'll just fight.
Yeah, incredibly talented fighters that won championship, but they're all small. Heavyweights and light heavyweights and lightweights and welterweights, for the most part, UFC would dominate. I'm not arguing, but when it gets down to those small ones, you know, bantamweight, flyweight, strawweight, atomweight, one FC or one championship has an incredible talent over there. I really do love it. I do like to watch it when I remember it's on or it's on normal hours. Cause,
it's on Amazon a lot, too.
I mean, that kid Rotang, I know he's not an MMA fighter. He's a Muay Thai fighter, but that dude almost finished Demetrius Johnson inside the first round. The guy has power, and he just walks everyone down. Incredible.
Well, some of those guys will dual champ. They'll be at the Muay Thai and the kickboxing.
No, I know. Yeah, they definitely will. They're nasty. Plus, they now have BJJ. For guys who want to do BJJ, they have 10 minutes straight BJJ. They have the greatest BJJ practitioner in the world, they say right now, right? Besides Gordon Ryan, they have Michael Machui or whatever his name is. I forget what his name is. I butchered it, but you could look him up. He's small. He's incredible. Like I said, they don't have the top tier larger guys. They have the top tier smaller opponents. Take nothing away. Gordon Ryan's the greatest BJJ, but this other kid.
Gordon Ryan just signed a multi-year deal with Flow Grappling.
Yeah. All right, guys. I hate to keep holding you up. We've on here for 50 minutes already. Appreciate you joining us. Got a pretty good crowd, guys. I'll win my cards up as soon as I can. 7 fights, so I got to up the ante a little for you guys this week.